Hello, I'm David Salomon and welcome to BoinxTV. We're webcasting live from Adelaide, traditional country of the Kaurna people, and we acknowledge that their country is alive and continuing and permeates the spirit of country. There's been a lot of excitement in the air as we've been getting ready for our launch of our first program, and we intend to bring you entertaining and informative stories, some great music, and news of information that we hope you'll find useful. It's all in aid of human rights. Now, before I get ahead of myself, just want to let you know that you can join the conversation as well with your comments through the Twitter feed. What we're going to do is throw them up on the screen later on in the program, and you'll be able to contribute to the conversation that way. If you'd like to make a comment or join the conversation with us, click over to twitter.com, sign up for an account if you haven't got one, and it only takes a few minutes, and you can follow us at BoinxTV. And of course you'll see our website, you're already at our website, so you know about that. Now, we've been seeing an amazing resurgence in Aboriginal culture, probably not seen since the Gurindji walk-off. It's not a new message. Aboriginal people have been committed to traditional law and culture continuing into future generations. The Northern Territory intervention has had such an impact not only in the Northern Territory, but you'll see later tonight it's had impact further afield as well. It's strengthened the commitment for Aboriginal people to have their concerns heard. So share the next half hour with us and see how you feel about these stories that are not usually picked up by the mainstream media. Does Australia deserve its reputation for human rights? Or what is to be done? My first guest and co-presenter and good friend is John Hartley. G'day, John. Welcome to BoinxTV.
G'day, Sal, and look, thanks for the invitation, and it's a real honour to be here with you tonight on your first broadcast. And can I just say, send out a warm welcome and a big hello to all our Indigenous and non-Indigenous brothers and sisters throughout the globe. I hope you are all in good health and in good spirit.
John, we've had a lot of help getting ready for the show, and I would especially like to acknowledge Pillawalk, whose fantastic silk painting you can see in the set behind us. Thanks, Pillawalk. John, I know that you're not originally from South Australia. Would you like to tell us about your connections to country?
Well, I'm Bummer. I'm a Yalanji man. I was born out of country. I was raised mainly in New South Wales, but my extended family networks go throughout both the western and eastern Yalanji peoples in far north Queensland. I also have family connections out in Freegon in the Pitjantjatjara lands as well. So,
John, we were up that way a couple of weeks ago. We went up to Alice Springs and down to Uluru. But we were talking with a lot of people actually from the other way, from up north, and we've got a bit of a slideshow here that was photos taken of the Yalata mob at Umbladawatch. And we've got a few photos here. John, could you just talk us through them?
Look, this slide presentation was put together by Paddy Gibson. He's up in Alice Springs with the Rollback Action Group, and it's a snapshot of the conditions and the neglect in which many of communities are now starting to find themselves in throughout the Northern Territory. Yeah. It seems to me that a lot of the communities are being, and people are being economically starved and therefore forcibly being removed from their communities. So this gives you a little bit of a snapshot of that. You know.
I see that first photo, we've passed it now, but sewage in the streets.
Yeah.
I seem to have the impression there that, you know, in spite of the intervention and the prescribed areas and, you know, all this effort and money going in, some of the really practical things that we would assume aren't being taken care of. Do you get that impression?
Most definitely, and in particular after our little journey to Alice and hearing a lot of the stories, not from just the people from Bloodawitch, but from many homelands and communities around Alice Springs, you know. That seems to be definitely the case, you know. And when you go there and you visit these communities, it becomes glaringly obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the people we were talking to there at Alice, and we travelled with actually, Richard Downs is a spokesman for the community up there. I think you know Richard well yourself, don't you?
Reasonably. First met Richard personally when a group of Pitjantjatjara, Yankunytjatjara elders, we went over to Bloodawitch for the opening of the protest house.
Okay.
Yeah, so, and that's where we first met up with Richard and his elders over there, and we were welcomed, very much welcomed into Yawara country by Richard and his elders. Yeah.
Well, we're going to see a bit of that later on, but right now, John, we're just going to divert for a moment. You're a musician as well.
It has been alleged. Yeah.
And so we're actually going to have a listen to one of your pieces. Going to take a short break and listen to some music. A piece called Poison in the Water.
Yeah.
Would you like to tell us about that song?
Poison in the Water is, I guess, an observation of mining companies, and in particular uranium mining companies that are sort of eating their way throughout Aboriginal country. It's interesting, you know, that people come years ago and they said, oh, they called our home a wasteland, you know, like because they didn't see any of the life that was abundant. But now that they realise there's riches, according to their paradigm anyway, in there to be had and exploited, suddenly the country becomes important to vested interest, you know. And it's a song about thinking about what are we going to leave our grandchildren, you know, and not just think about what we see